Even those of you at home.
Yeah. Yeah. So you guys should already be aware. How you doing, Marshall?
I'm doing good. Today's an exciting day because today is the day where we actually might use
Oh my.
the 5e content. Or the not all of this has been 5e content, but the Wizards of the Coast content.
Hmm.
So that should be exciting.
Cool. Good. I mean, maybe. I mean, I don't know if I believe that.
Well, if you make it to the town, which I am hoping you will, then we should be. But
Okay.
we'll see. We'll see. You might get distracted. You
Yeah.
might be like, "Oh, what's that?" And then just at the last, you're moments away from reaching the town. You're like, "Let's turn around."
I got a bad feeling about this.
I got a bad feeling. The rest of your companions are like, "What? What? Why'd we come here then?"
We've already made so much money
Um,
hunting ogres. We don't need this shit. Let's go home.
I'm sure it wouldn't harm your guild's reputation that you just like. You're like, it's too hard. We made money on other things.
We'll make a story
We're
up
dropping.
about how we lost someone in the hills, and then we
The,
we, we turned back.
or you could just lie, be like, the kid's dead.
That's a good idea, actually. That's a good idea. Uh oh.
That'd be awkward if someone else found the.
Yeah, indeed.
You said, "Uh oh." What's the uh oh?
Just your bit rate on your camera is fluctuating heavily, but your audio is still fine. So let's hope. Let's live in hope.
Don't trust it. It's a lie.
Yeah. So how's your 2 weeks been?
Um, good. We were we have gotten a bank account in the area, which is nice because both of our bank accounts were in completely different parts of the country. Um, well, actually, Lily had like a national bank, like Chase. So we just, but I had like a local. I don't know. Do they have credit unions in the UK? Like, you know what that is? Like kind of local small bank type thing.
I'm
But
not
it's
sure. All of my bank accounts have always been international, so
oh, gotcha.
it's like I've never
Well,
dealt with something like that. Yeah.
so credit unions are weirdly can be international if they made deals with. So when
Ah.
I went to Germany, I found out I had this little rinky-dink credit union that only exists in like my little part of my state. And when I went to Germany, we went to a bunch of ATMs to get euros out, and every time everyone around me had to pay like a pretty hefty fee for the ATM. I mean, not super hefty, but decently hefty. And I found out that my bank happened to negotiate a deal with Deutsche Bank, and just I paid no fees. And I was like, why did my tiny credit union? Why do they have like some sort of thing? I'm like, that's shady as fuck. But okay.
The German
um,
connection.
yeah, the German connection. So, but yeah, yeah. So we got a joint account set up here, so in town. So that was fun, and we've been cleaning things and um grad school is going to start up soon, so I am getting ready for that.
Cool. Have
Are
you
you
got?
are you back yet? Oh, what were we gonna say?
Oh yeah, I'm wondering if you've got any contact teaching when you get back.
Oh, slightly. It's like hybrid. It's like a little bit of both. So a little bit of in person teaching, um, which isn't too bad because it's like obviously since it's grad courses, it's like really small groups. But and one of the guys was like, he was like, I don't want us to meet at all, but I technically have to have you meet at least once because the course is listed as hybrid.
Mhm.
So we're just gonna hang out at my house on my lawn the first day, and then I was
Grab
like,
a
okay,
beer, watch the football. I'll barbecue up some steaks. We have a nice old time.
that was good. The only thing that gave you away as not being American was when you said the football.
Got
I,
him.
to be fair, I don't hang out with a lot of sports guys, but I don't think I think we've discussed this more. I think that is like a not an American expression.
Yeah.
Even among sports people, I don't think I've heard them say it, but it could be.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like a very old person thing to say, doesn't it? From an American lens, is the
Yeah,
football and the gaming and the
and the
Twitch.
Facebook and the Yeah, no, exactly. It sounds super out of place. People will be like, "Who the fuck are you?" But yeah, how are things going on your end?
Yeah, pretty good. It's been a long time since we played, so I'm just trying to think of what happened. I've been playing a lot of D&D, which is always fun. I mean, very little has happened. Just chilling, relaxing. I don't do anything until like October, so I am.
Oh, your courses don't start up until October.
They always do, yeah.
Damn,
Yeah, just so
that's wow.
just
Is that standard? There is that pretty
there's
standard?
there's two pretty standardized dates, and that's like mid September and then early October. So it's kind of standard,
Okay.
but it's one of two standards, and this one is rarer.
Okay.
But it's always been like that for me. So right now I'm just attempting to tell the UK government that I'm definitely not a student. and and they're like, yeah, you're right, you're not, we fucked up, correct. And then I have to do all this paperwork for 2 months rather than just not making me pay. Anyway, let's not get into that again. I think we've been on that on stream again. It's like literally, I will happily take less money if you just do it in the least paperwork way possible. And they're like, no, we want to give you money, but we need to make you do all this paperwork and need to call you like 50 times and have you apply to like 10 jobs, even though none of them are going to take you because you're not going to be fucking around in 2 months.
Your choice is either money or no money. There's no middling option.
Yeah.
You can do the least amount of paperwork, but then you get no money. But you still do some paperwork. You got to fill out the no money form.
Yes,
and send that to corporate.
It's infuriating. Jesus.
And if you don't request no money, they will fine you. Oh my god. That's funny.
So that's all I've been doing. I am 23 today, so I feel old.
Oh shit! I forgot this was your birthday. Happy birthday!
Thank you very much.
Oh man, I don't have any of my calendars up.
I don't think I remember yours. Is yours in April?
May 11th. May 11th.
Oh, okay. April was pretty close.
April was pretty close. No, yeah, I know. I always remember you're in August. I don't, because August is it's a. I don't know. Summer birthdays are interesting. I always remember summer birthdays because like nothing else is going on when they're happening. So it's like, oh yeah, okay. Like
I was very tempted today because the weather was good to go down to the beach.
Yeah,
but then I didn't. Okay, no, I'm not kidding. I didn't do that, but the main reason I'm trying to keep myself inside because I can't wear a mask very well, so I'm just trying to stay inside all the time to keep it's better for everyone.
What's the issue with the mask?
I have a deviated septum, so I can't breathe out of my nose like most of the time. So it just makes breathing, like when I hamper my breathing, I just get like I'm just in a bit of trouble.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I wonder if there's like one you could get that's designed to better, I don't know, suit
I don't think
that
so,
sort of.
Isn't the whole point that you're supposed to like catch the droplets and stuff from your mouth? And I like the whole problem is I need to breathe out of my mouth.
Well, yeah, but I'm just so the issue is like breathing from your mouth is just heavier through the mask, or
yeah. So because I mean most people will have like even if they're breathing through their mouth, they're breathing a little bit through their nose, right? And sometimes I just can't breathe through my nose.
Gotcha.
So it's just distressful.
I never really thought about that. I guess when I breathe through my mouth, I do breathe through my nose a little bit. Oh, that's weird.
It's got a natural intake, right? That just
I never thought about it.
Like, I've been thinking that all the summer with all of this, I'm like, I just have to get this fixed. But I'm thinking even that's a bit like, well, this is not really a necessary operation. Do you really put that strain on the health service? So,
I mean, in a way it's strain, but I mean, so I'm not an expert, but I would imagine it's such a different kind of operation that it might not be strained in the same way. You know what I mean?
Well,
like,
yeah, but I think I would take up a hospital bed for a couple days.
Oh, you think?
I
think it would need like recovery time?
Yeah, but not like I only think for like 2 or 3 days or something. But yeah,
I mean, it's something to consider. I guess one way you could rationalize it to yourself is that it's like it's in a way the deviated septum is a health risk related to COVID, right? So I don't know, but I think
my infrastructure is being set up quite well right now for not having to go anywhere.
Yeah.
I've got.
So are the beaches there like not too many people, or is it kind of crazy?
Depends where you go. In the south, I've heard that it's really crazy.
Oh yeah.
Look, different. Look, no, you're not allowed to. That's not recognition. It's for a very different cultural. It's very different. Okay.
No, I know.
I'm just saying, you don't get to do that. All right, like all right, bruv. All right, lad.
Well, I know that the south of. If you're talking about the south of England, I know it's the most heavily populated part of the country.
The south east is. There's some very rural areas down south.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah.
Well, I'm guessing the rural areas aren't the parts with lots of people at the beaches, are they?
Well, yes, actually, I think.
Oh, they are? Oh, okay.
I don't fucking know. It's not London. I'll tell you that for a fact. It's not London.
Well, yeah, but I just assume all the people from the London area probably go to beaches in Kent and Sussex and stuff like that.
I don't think people are actually doing that though. Well, some people obviously are, but I don't think en masse. That's a lot of travel. That I think people would realize is a bit fucking stupid. But
yeah.
But then again, some people just don't. Some people just don't care, I guess.
Some people don't give a fuck. But yeah, no, that's cool. My first day of courses is on September the 2nd, so quite a bit earlier than yours. But we've still got a little bit of time before that starts, and it should be interesting. And you're entering a new program, right? You're entering.
Yeah, I'm doing.
Is it law school?
I'm doing a master's degree in law.
Okay, but that's not. Is there a law school there? Like, is that a thing? Or do you just get a master's degree in law? Like,
well, no, you don't need a master's.
Because here, law school is like its own thing.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. You do like a year. There are law schools, and then you do a year of what do you call it? Apprenticeship and stuff. But no, this is different. You don't need a master's degree in law to do any of that.
Gotcha. This is just to know the law better.
This is because I wanted to do a master's degree in history and I didn't like the history department, so I said, fuck it, I'll do one in law.
Why didn't you just go to a different place? With a better history department? Then you'd really have to, you'd have to really want it.
Yeah, that's one thing, is I'd have to go over there and I'd have to, have talks. It was effort enough to walk across the street and talk to the history department here. It was like, let alone go to somewhere else. Also, I was fucking, the years have not been kind on old Putty's academic reputation, alright? And when I got into this institution, I was a much more attractive prospect than I am now. So I don't think I'll be punching up, let's say that. That's
interesting. Yeah, for me it's been the opposite.
Yeah, because you're a functioning human who took his studies seriously.
But I didn't when I was a kid. When I was a teenager,
exactly.
Like going into my undergrad, it was like, oh man, I had terrible prospects. And now, but during my university years, yeah, I mean, it improved. But for you, it was the opposite. Like,
absolutely, yeah,
it got worse.
There's nowhere to go but down from here. There's no way a better institution, because there aren't that many better institutions in the country. There's like 6. So
gotcha.
There's no way.
Well, there's a better institution, right? But if your issue is that you want a better history department,
not a better one,
there might
one
be
that I like more. There's a difference.
But the point is, but all I'm saying is, you can have a worse institution overall that has a much better department for a certain field. I mean, that's, at least here, that's super common. I think that's common in lots of places where, you might have a rinky-dink school that has a really ace, anthropology department, for example. Mm-hmm. And everyone goes there to do anthropology, but any other program there, and you've got a subpar education, Yeah. But anyway, I get it.
And you also get a discount.
Oh yeah, that's true.
10%.
Well, I'm sure you'll be. I'm sure it'll go great. I'm sure. I mean, let's hope it doesn't continue to go down. Come on, keep it up.
No, I mean, it's not being a straight It's just it's like.
Yeah, I mean, here at least they will scrub you out of a master's program if you do. They have. I forget what the grade is, but if it's I think if you get 2 C's, they just throw you out of the master's program. I forget what it is, but they've got pretty
It's pretty aggressive.
strict. Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, no, it's pretty aggressive. Well, it's also considering they're funding you, right? Like, it might be one of those situations where they're like, yeah, because here it's like you get because there's no we don't have any fucking money from the government here for schools. So like, if you're going to school for free, it's because the school wanted you to go there for free. And so like, if you're not keeping up with their expectations of what they wanted from you, then they'll either kick you out or they'll say, look, I mean, you can stay, but you have to pay. And then it's like, but I don't have any money. Anyway, so you might as well just kick me out. Anyway, but that's enough about that. We're going to enter we're not going to enter the yawning portal, but don't believe the title of the book. We won't meet this guy. But
why are you showing it to me?
Because it's the book. I assume you know. Have you at all looked at Yawning Portal? Like you understand kind of what it is as a book, as a product?
I don't remember it, but I think I did look at it once, but I've definitely never looked at it in detail.
It's essentially a collection of 7 dungeons, each leveled 1 to. It'll take you, if you theoretically you could run through all of them in a row and get to level 20. I think most people probably run them piecemeal. Pull one of them into their game, pull another into their game, because there's not really great strings to attach the 7 dungeons together. So you just have to kind of figure it out yourself. But that's essentially what it is. And they're all, I think I've told you this, they're all like old-fashioned reworked dungeons from different editions that have been reworked into the 5e rules, kind of like Ghosts of Saltmarsh, which I think is also a similar idea. Ghosts of Saltmarsh is like a bunch of old-fashioned adventures that have been reworked. Anyway, so
are you excited about the new campaign coming out soon?
Which one is that?
Icewind Dale.
Oh yeah, no, I heard good things. Well, is it a setting or is it a campaign?
It's a campaign.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, cool.
I mean,
it wouldn't be a setting because it's
like,
in the Sword Coasts.
It's kind of on the Sword Coast. It's like Curse of Strahd. Like it's a campaign, but there's also it's like.
But there's setting information.
Yeah, it's actually like a lot of things. It's like because Storm King's Thunder is a campaign, but it's also got a chapter that's like, here's how you run a game in the Sword Coast, and then Out of the Abyss is a campaign, but also one of the chapters is just here's what the Underdark looks like.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It's the same thing.
Or it's the same thing with what's it called, now I can't think of it. The one on the island,
Tomb of
with
Annihilation?
the big dungeon. Yeah, Tomb of Annihilation. I'm sure that has similar information about the island and stuff like that. Because that one is kind of like a sandboxy at first, I think. Yeah. But anyway, okay, yeah. So, well, that's cool. Yeah, I think it would be, honestly, one of these days I don't know if you have, I've never actually played the video game based in Icewind Dale. Yeah.
I have.
I've heard really good things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or sorry, did you like it? Or
I didn't love it. I didn't think it was as good as.
You didn't love it?
In those in that area, like Baldur's Gate and Planescape Torment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you thought Baldur's Gate as a D&D CRPG is better than Icewind Dale?
Icewind Dale, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Where have you played Neverwinter? The only one of them that I've fully played is Neverwinter Nights.
Oh, nice. What did you think of Neverwinter Nights?
I liked it. It's fun. Yeah,
cool.
It's a good game.
I never played it, but I watched a really good video essay on it recently.
Oh yeah. Okay. Cool.
It was really cool to see that what the legacy it had, because it was basically like a creation toolkit, and that it's no more for the things people made out of it than the actual campaign in the game itself. Oh,
okay. Yeah. What I need to do one of these days, since I played the first one, is play the second one, because the second one was developed by Obsidian. It's like I might as well one of these days play it. Okay, I played it years before I even got into RPGs proper, so I probably didn't even really fully appreciate it. It might have been one of the first RPGs I ever played. I mean, there's a sense in which I probably liked it more because of that. I don't know. It's it's both things, but
it'll be good if you do replay it, because whenever Tarius dies, and I run difficult terrain, it's going to be in Neverwinter. So. Oh
yeah, nice. Are there any Neverwinter source books or any campaign books out?
For 4th edition, there's it's literally called the Neverwinter.
Oh no, I meant for 5th edition.
Oh no.
Oh, okay.
They release like one book a year. They would have never gone to next.
They release like one book a year. They're too busy printing out 37,000 magic cards every hour. You know. So,
True.
that is the one. Like, it's like I do feel like Magic gets a little more attention, but probably because it's more profitable. From what I understand, it's probably immensely more profitable than D&D for Wizards of the Coast. I don't know.
I memed a little bit when I said they only release one book a year. I mean, they're good quality books. Like, I think it's probably the best way to do it.
And it depends what you mean by, because they probably release like a setting book, a campaign, and some sort of other book a year. So it's like, you know, it's not just literally one book, because they're gonna.
Right.
If you they probably do release like one. I don't know. I don't exactly know the release schedule, but yeah, no, I know. I mean, they're good books. They're good books. I'm not shitting.
Some of them are. I guess we should probably say.
I think they have a track record that slopes up, though. I think the quality has gone up as they've worked on them.
Yeah, I mean, I can feel that to an extent. I mean, there are some stylistic choices that just, like, you know, sometimes. Like for me, I still really like the now that I've been reading more into it, because we talked about this before. Actually, I actually really like the first two modules and the way they connect together, the Horde of the Dragon Queen and Rise of Tiamat. I think it's a really cool that. I don't think anything's changed the setting like those two books did, and everything's kind of based still around what happened there, which is cool.
Yeah. I believe they did a redux or like a remastered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know
when they might have
many changes, but they definitely stuck them together.
They might have made corrections and things like, you know, things like that. There's always 1,000 typos in these that they fucking don't catch. Not 1,000, but like whenever I read an RPG book cover to cover, I catch like probably 20 typos, and I'm like, how did I catch these? Right? No one else did.
I'm the same way. I think whenever I see even one, I'm just like, how did that make it in?
Like, how did you not have 10 people read this cover to cover before you send it to the printers? Like, I just don't. And if you did, how did they all miss this one typo? You know,
need to write a strongly worded email that will get you a job.
A strongly worded, yeah. Okay,
I will do this for you.
So when we last left our hero, our brave hero, Lord of all, God of Thunder, Tarius Gladwin Jr. He was Tarius knows no thunder spells. He is the God of Thunder. He was traveling with his party through the pass, through the White Spine Mountains. He had left Clan Grim. And had made the arduous trek. But then he was like, hey, guys. I don't know why, but when we run twice as fast, I don't feel more fatigued at the end of the day. So we should probably just do that.
It's not running twice as fast. Stop trivializing it, all right? First of all, it's only a 50% increase in distance travel.
It's a 50% increase.
And it's about, like, you know, you're climbing recklessly, and you're not looking around, and you're not covering your tracks, and you're not, like, you're just
bushwhacking it. Yeah,
absolutely.
Just running.
Yeah.
Sprinting.
When you see it like a mountain pass, right? If you're traveling at normal pace, you find a nice route around it. If you're traveling at fast pace, you climb it. that's the difference. You just get
that's
pitons out.
I mean, it's also like, I mean, I think if it's 50% speed increase, it's essentially also like if you're normally walking at a nice pace, then like if you're going at the fast pace, you're kind of speed walking. You're kind of like, you know, you're kind of
you're taking less breaks.
Yeah. But yeah, so you guys did a brisk walk through the mountains. And actually I think it was good for Tarius. It healed him. It made him a better man, from what I remember.
Yeah, he used second wind for the first time in this campaign.
Yeah. Yeah. And he felt fantastic. And he said, "Oh, I feel so good." And he got to the the party got to.
Whenever I see 7 hit points, it always just cracks me up.
It's like, oh, there's a glitch. It's.
Oh wait, no. I have 7 hit points.
That's just what I have.
Yeah, I'm just, whenever I come back into this campaign, there's always something new to see, and it's like this guy is this meek, -5 Constitution guy. He's got 115 pounds of shit on his back.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, yeah. What's his strength? He's got a good strength, though, right?
10. You know.
Okay. Well, that's I think 150 pounds. I think is the what you can carry them.
Yeah. With the normal
yeah. So you you're carrying quite a load, quite a burden, and going through the mountains. You guys got to the very last tower. But before then, you were ambushed by orcs, and you were able to kill the orcs. You killed all of them, took no prisoners, and none of them escaped, which is probably a good result. But one of your party members went down, and definitely was probably came the closest to dying that anyone except. I'd argue Tarius is always the closest to dying. But, like, without being Tarius, Sir Renal came the closest to dying that anyone has in the campaign. There's a sense in which Tarius is always literally about to die. I think also if Tarius tried to hold his breath, I think because of the breathing rules, he would just be fucked. Because I think the breathing rules is like... It's like something to do with your con.
Yeah, but I don't think you.
So it's like you would literally be around. You could. I don't know what it is, but
I don't think. I don't think Tarius can hold his breath. Is what we can gather from from his -5 con. But I don't think there's a lot of things in 5e where they just like, oh, if you go into the minus, it's fine. Like with with hit points, like you can't lose hit points when you level up. Even if I roll a 1.
Yeah. Although I think with the breathing rule, it is just equal to your score, isn't it? I don't think it's...
Yeah, but what does
is it equal to your
minutes
mod?
mean? No, it's...
No, your score, not your mod, I thought. I thought it was equal to your...
It's equal to your mod. Hold
Oh.
on. Breath.
Well, then it would just be...
Rules. Nope. Well... Holding?
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 Holding a baby?
What would this be under? Like suffocating?
Yep. Or underwater swimming.
They're coming to get me, Marshall.
Yikes. It's a banshee.
What, that siren? No. Good. Well played. A creature can hold its breath for a number of minutes equal to 1 plus its constitution modifier, a minimum of 30 seconds. So I guess...
Okay, so in that case, the 30 seconds for you. There you go. It's outlined clearly there. So you have 30 seconds if you're ever underwater. Even that though isn't that brutal because it's like in combat, that's like 6 rounds to resolve your issue.
It's true.
5 rounds.
Yeah.
5 rounds to resolve your issue. So that's actually not. It's pretty generous.
300 feet in that time. Or 150 if I was underwater.
Yeah. I think it's one of those situations where it's like if you were at the crushing depths and you had a water spell cast on you and then like somehow it got taken off, then you just be fucked. But in most situations, I think you'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean, I've lived this long, right? I'm a healthy age of 24.
24. Which for Tarius is like being a 60-year-old man. And
because it's my birthday, do you want to give me 25 XP?
Because it's your birthday.
Mm-hmm. Don't do it. I'm joking. Don't do it.
You will get a birthday cake.
Ooh.
In the game, that'll happen. Don't worry. Anyway,
Tarius' birthday. I'm confused.
It won't be for Tarius, but Tarius will fucking eat it. No, he just steals someone's birthday cake. So you guys defeated the orcs, but I think Tarius kind of felt a little bit like it was maybe he did something wrong or it just didn't go his way. And it was he was kind of wrestling with that. And then you guys went, cleared up there, went to the last tower, and there was a couple people who got exhausted, but I think for the most part it wasn't too bad. And
Tarius wasn't
at the
exhausted at
last,
all.
no, Tarius was fine. And at the last tower, you had discovered that it had been attacked. That something attacked the tower, or someone attacked the tower and killed its defender. You guys raised the alarm to the other dwarves, spent the night there, and then kind of put up barrier to keep any creatures out. And the night passed without any terrible events. Tarius is awoken by his comrades, and some of his food is laid out for him.
Okay. Tarius will eat it.
So you can subtract rations if you'd like at the beginning of the day, or you can do it at the end of the day. I don't really care.
Okay.
It's fine either way.
How many rations?
One for everyone, right? So 5, or plus the dog, so 6. Is 4 good? I think 4 is good, right?
We can read. I can read. Yeah, it's a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, that was below average. So we used 5, so that's 8 we've got left. Alright. We're going to need to hunt some game and do some foraging soon. Can't be waiting until we get out of these fucking mountains.
The guides tell you that the zone that if you just keep walking, you'll reach the nearest town today.
I am aware, but thank you for the reminder. Now, let us get moving.
Well, they were confused. If you're going to reach the town, why do you need to hunt game?
For food?
You can just buy food.
That costs money.
Fair enough.
There are 2 capable archers in this group and 1 capable tracker.
Yeah, but, are you going to defile yourself by getting out your bow and hunting
No, I'll
something?
make Alessandro do it.
So, after you're finished eating, what do you do?
I'd like to ask the guys aren't coming. The guide's done now. They're not coming with us for the last leg of this.
Yeah, the guides are done.
I asked them if there's any forest between here and the Vale.
Well, a sort of forest. Towards the edge of the mountains, trees, pine trees and the like grow at the edge of the mountains near White Vale. So you can find game in those forests and possibly forage. I'd imagine that there'd be more things to forage than hunt up in the because it's still up in the mountains. But you might find, if you're lucky, something ranging about in those woods. It's not particularly thick woods. It's kind of like an alpine type, alpine trees spread out as you get closer and closer to White Vale. But I'd imagine, certainly there's critters that live in those woods, and plenty of things that grow. Particularly, well, when we've had to go there, we've survived on something called snowberries that grow quite in abundance in those hills.
I cannot imagine living on berries for any length of time. Very well, though. Thank you for the information. We will be getting going now.
Of course. Have a good one. And the guides are actually going to stay here until their reinforcement arrives, because they now have to deal with the situation of whatever happened to this tower. So you set out, everyone in your party has gotten a decent meal. You have your trusty dog with you, and you begin to walk down the mountains. And at this point, you are finally, for the first time in a long time on your journey, going down more than you're going up. You are starting to. Occasionally, there will be a slope up, but for the most part, you are steadily marching down the mountains through the sort of valley that is formed here, and you it probably takes I think it will take
I think you said 7, right?
7 hours if you take normal pace
Yeah.
to get to Whitevale. Are you just gonna march at a normal pace?
Sorry, what's the mileage again? For my benefit. Also, what's the exhaustion status of everybody? Is everybody fixed now, or someone still got one?
Everyone is dying.
Okay, good.
Soon they will all be dead.
I'm glad to hear it.
In terms of the exhaustion, I think the only person who was really fucked was Kristen had 2, I think. So I think she probably still has 1.
Cool. Sounds good. Yeah, what's the mileage between here and Whitevale?
Yeah, so the mileage would be...
Because it's a difficult terrain.
Should be...
21?
Should be about 11 miles.
Oh, yes, because difficult terrain. Okay, so 11 hours at a slow pace. Ooh. Okay, we travel 2 hours, that's 3, so 11 you said, right? So 2 hours for 3, another 2 hours for another 3. Another 2, so that's 8. And we can travel 8 hours a day, right? Yeah, without the exhaustion penalties. Yes, okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Alright. Gonna travel the first 2 hours, covering 3 miles, and seeing if we're in the forest yet.
Okay. So normal pace for the first
Yes.
2 hours.
Normal pace for the first 2 hours.
Okay. So you begin to march at a normal pace, and you arrive in an area that is at the end of those 2 hours, you are essentially it's definitely not like a thick forest, but there's probably a couple trees every few feet. So it's kind of like a sparse woodland where there's not a ton of cover, but there's certainly things growing. There's pine trees and a lot of bushes growing at this point in some sort of spread out areas that go in either direction in a sort of larger valley, a sort of larger sloping valley you're entering.
Does it look like it gets deeper further on? Or that it's pretty much going to stay this consistent? Okay. Then I'm going to travel...
It gets a little deeper.
Cool. I'm going to travel for another 2 hours at normal pace, but if the forest gets deeper and then it starts to thin out again, I will stop. But if it stays at this, if it just keeps getting deeper, I'll just travel for another 2 hours at normal pace.
Okay. Yeah, I think that probably at that point you have basically reached the peak thickness of the of the forest. From there on out, it'll start getting thinner as you get to Whitevale. So this is kind of where the most of the trees are.
Gotcha. Right. So for the next 2 hours, we are going to travel at slow pace, which will cover only 2 miles. But I will instruct everybody to keep a low profile, and I'll ask Alessandro to see if he can pick up a trail of any game in the area.
Okay. Yeah. Have Alessandro make a survival check. Yeah, he is. You're specifically just having him look for game.
Yeah, maybe like an elk or deer or something if we can find it.
Okay. Yeah. He is able to find a couple sets of tracks. He thinks he found some tracks of some mountain goats that you could hunt. And he thinks he found some tracks of a caribou.
Ooh, let's go after the caribou. So I'm gonna
Okay.
instruct everybody to halt for a little bit, take a short break. When me and Alessandro are going to, I'm gonna take out the bow, and then me and Alessandro are going to try and follow these tracks and sneak up on this caribou.
Okay. Yeah. So everyone else sort of makes a not camp, but kind of chills. Um, and you head with Alessandro. You have your bow out.
Yeah.
Nice. Alessandro is very happy you have your bow out. He just wants you to be a good man.
It is a hunting tool, not a weapon of war. This is what it's used for.
No, that is funny. Alessandro has his brain explodes.
I don't say that to him at this point, but I probably would have said it to him at some point in the past. So he knows that's my opinion on the bow.
Nice.
This is what it's used for, you know.
He just stabs himself in the brain. Anyway,
He's so
he so both of you are sort of sneaking your way through the underbrush. Why don't both of you roll a stealth check?
I'd love to, but I can't. No. Alessandro, yeah, that's fine. I think. Oh no, that shouldn't be that. It should be two lower. Yeah, so he should be 9 because he's
Yikes.
not actually proficient in stealth.
That is weird. I guess it's not that weird, but what is he proficient in? What are his skills? What are his 2 skills?
3. He has investigation, perception, and survival.
Oh, okay. Well, no, that does make sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
I should have just had him track it and had me sneak up on it, but
Yeah, immediately you guys are walking, you just go, just twig breaks, and you're like, "Fuck!"
Stag me a little bit. Just tell me where to go.
So you guys begin to slip through the underbrush, as you quietly move towards what you think is a caribou. You eventually see the tracks get fresher and fresher, and eventually you see a little pond that is fed by a mountain stream and quite a few trees around it, but it opens up into a little clearing near the pond, and you can see that the caribou has come to drink water from it.
How far away am
I? When you first see the caribou, you are probably 200 feet away.
Okay, that's fine actually. I tell Alessandro to wait here, and when I give you the signal, call and mark it, and when its head rises and you see my arrow stick it, if it still moves, shoot your own.
He nods.
And I'll try and get 50 feet closer.
Okay, you get 50 feet closer. You're now 150 feet towards the caribou. It doesn't seem to notice you as it slurps from its delicious mountain pool. And at this point, it stops drinking and goes to graze a little bit on the grass near the. There's this very crisp, bright evergreen grass that grows near this pool, and it begins to graze on that.
Okay. I make a motion towards Alessandro, and I have him call out towards it.
Whatever caribou, I don't know what what noise they make, and I'm trying to. So you're trying to get him to get the caribou to come closer to you.
I just want him to get the caribou because when they hear a noise, they'll raise their head, and so I can get a clean kill.
Oh, that's what you're. Okay, yeah. So you do that, it immediately.
Yeah, and then I'll take the shot, and I assume I'm unseen.
Here you are.
Okay, I crit it for 16 damage.
You shoot it into space. You lose the meat. Let me just double check. I'm pretty sure that kills it.
I had someone an elk recently, and they have 2d10. I'm not sure if caribous are different. Or 2d10 plus 4, I think it was. Or 2d10 plus 2.
There's an elk stat block? Oh, there is. Wow.
Yeah,
you annihilate it into space. No, I'm just kidding. You kill it. You kill it. You shoot it in the right in the head. And actually probably even better than that would be in the neck. And so you shoot it in the neck, and it immediately it kind of has this natural mindless sort of instinct that when you hit it, that it kind of gallops a little bit, runs, kicks off, but that's just that's just a mindless. You hit clean, and it moves about 20 feet doing this, and just collapses dead near the stream. You can see it, and
cool.
Alessandro moves up to you.
Yeah, and we'll both approach it. I'll wash it slightly in the stream, and I'll ask Alessandro to skin it and get the meat and the hide.
Okay, yeah. So Alessandro gets out his filleting knife and begins
spins it around in his hand. Does a little bit of 5-finger fillet with it.
You want to play a game, Sonny?
You want to play a game, little deer? Or it's a caribou.
Yeah. Begins slicing it up. And why don't we have him make a survival check to see what kind of good meat he gets?
Oh, absolutely. 12. Alessandro's having a relaxed day today.
He is. But this is a pretty mundane thing, so a mundane skill check isn't terrible.
Yeah,
so he is. Well, I say mundane. It would be pretty fucking intense for me to do this, but
yeah.
It's mundane for
but it's
D&D character.
Yeah, for Alessandro.
I cannot picture myself just being with a dead fucking moose and just like, you have to cut it up, and I'm like, what? Please no. Anyway, so he begins slicing up this creature, and we'll say that it's really big. Yeah. He didn't like absolutely ace the cutting up, but he did decent enough that you can get 20 rations from this thing. 20 days of rations. You'll need to, just like with the last thing, if you want them to be rations you can keep long term, you'll need to smoke them at a fire within the next day or so. Salt them.
Did we get any hide?
Yeah. He would have gotten a decent amount of hide off of it, most of it.
Do you want to chuck me a pound number, or do you want me just to put a decent
for
amount?
Hide?
Yeah, sure.
A decent amount of hide. Amount of pounds.
You probably do want to give me pounds here because I'm about to become over encumbered. So.
I would imagine a big hide would be about 5 pounds.
Okay. Shit. Do I care about the hide? Does Alessandro seem like he's proud of the hide? Does Alessandro carry the hide?
He can carry it. He can carry it. I mean, he would think it's having a hide is good for camping, and because you can either sleep on it or you can use it as a blanket. Either way, it's useful.
Okay, I give him the hide.
Okay, he takes it.
Yeah. Okay.
He eats it.
No, that's what the venison is for.
He eats the hide and wears the venison.
No, Alessandro. That's not how elves do it.
Alessandro, you forgot to take your medication this morning.
Alessandro, that's so weird.
Alessandro's. Oh no. Yeah. So.
Wow, it's very rare that Marshall will censor a joke in his own head.
No, I only censored it because I didn't think it'd be that funny. Oh. It wasn't that. I was gonna make a joke about Lady Gaga because I think she once wore meat. Oh, yeah. She wore like a meat suit. But I didn't. It was one of those things where I was like, "Is there a joke there?" And then I just
I feel that.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we get back to the open, and then we'll finish the 2 hours at slow pace, which will give us a total distance traveled of 8 miles. So we'll spend the next 2 hours traveling at normal pace to get those last 3 miles in before the end of the day.
Excellent. So you won't have to exhaust yourself doing this, correct?
Yeah, I travel, so 6 hours total at normal pace, which is 9 miles, if I've worked that out correctly.
Yes.
And then 2 hours at slow pace, which is 2 miles on top of that.
Nice.
Yeah. and we got a caribou. I think this is a very successful day, unless you're about to make me roll for some orcs.
Orcs.
Looks like orcs back on the menu, boys.
Boys. Roll me a d10. That's a good point. Let's roll for some orcs.
Awesome. 2. That might be an orc number right there.
It's not an orc number.
Okay.
As you guys are walking near White Vale, I want Tarius to make a perception check.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Me and the boy are usually watching specifically.
Yeah.
20.
Nice. Tarius, you see, you notice it's very far away, and you get the sense that it's not an active threat to you. But you do see in the distance, thousands of miles up high in the sky, a white winged creature flying north. With a giant tail.
It's been a while since we played. I remember, I think the phrase that was used by the dwarves was old white worms.
Whoa. Yeah, white worms of the north.
White worms of the north. So I don't know, I was going to say, do you see that? And I nod towards it, hopefully in time for
yeah, Alessandro looks up.
Does he see it? What does he see?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he sees it.
Do you think that those old white worms of the north that they were talking about?
Alessandro nods, and he says, I think so. I've never seen a white one before, but
you've seen a different
there were
one before.
He nods. He says,
before he goes on, actually, I put up my hand. How far away are you from the town?
No, this probably happens when you're like an hour away.
I say, there is a hot tavern and a hearth waiting for us, and it sounds like a story I would like to hear with the mug of ale in my hand.
Oh, it's not really much of a story, but okay.
Don't worry, everyone. Alessandro is going to tell a very cool story when we get into White Vale.
No. I'm not a storyteller, please. No. He looks very embarrassed. So you guys continue, and eventually you start to see as the mountain finally, for the last time, slopes downward, and you can see clearly into the land below, the valley below, that sprawls out into the Norfold. You see a town. It appears to connect to the mountain pass that you're walking on. Mm-hmm. And for the first time in a while, the mountain pass turns from what was essentially just cut out from, kind of marked with rocks and such at various intervals. It becomes a gravel path that looks much more maintained. Nice. And kept. And you can see this gravel path wind, and eventually, once it gets down to basically sea level, if you will, or ground level, it turns into kind of a stone cobbled path for the last few hundred feet, and it enters the town. And you can see that it's a walled city, a walled town with old stone walls that surround it, as well as 3 great towers at various points of the walls that you can see might have battlements on them.
How tall is the wall?
And you're pretty far away, but you would imagine it's probably at least 10 feet high, maybe 15 or 20 feet high.
And then how high are the towers?
Oh, the towers are at least 50 feet high, 50. You think.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
Go on.
So you can see there are dozens of buildings packed into little almost like blocks inside of the walled city. There is you see a big temple steeple that pokes out. It's probably the tallest building in town, as well as a large, fat wooden um, kind of barn-looking structure that you can see a high flag flying from. And you see lots of people inside the town. It's bustling with activity. It is not a ghost town or anything of the like. And as you continue to approach, you're more bear. No, as you continue to approach,
No, I thought
only inches from the gate.
when you were about to describe the dragon, I thought you were gonna say like there's a black bear, and I was like, we're gonna totally hunt that. And then you said a dragon, and I was like, we can't hunt that.
Even if you wanted to hunt it, it would be pretty difficult to find out where it's going. It's flying really fast.
That is also true. Although I'd have faith if Alessandro spent a week on it, he could do it. He's Alessandro.
He looks at it and goes, "I know where it has gone.
I know it's home. I know it's. I know where it's.
I know what it loves. I know what its fears are. I know what its dreams are." No, it dreams of a lady. No, anyway, but you guys are a few dozen feet away from the town when you see that there are 2 town guards carrying pikes at the gate of the town, and they look not too intense. In fact, they look much less intense than the guards at Castle Gormland, especially the ones, if you remember the ones on the inner ring that kind of gave you a little bit of trouble. They were very serious.
What kind of armor
these guys
wearing?
It appears to be some form of ring mail. Very, not too fancy.
Cool.
And when you get to when you get closer to them, one of them says, "Hail, travelers of the mountain pass! You have come to Whitevale."
Aye, we come on business for the regent of the barony of Moorland.
Ah, I see.
We are Tarra's Fist, the mercenary company. You may have heard of us. Or not. We will not take offense. It is not often we get to travel through that mountain pass and come to such a beautiful city. What fine towers do you have?
The guy on the right who was talking to you is just sort of scratches his head, but the other one says, "I've heard of Taurus Fist. You're from Moordrake, right? That city over the mountains."
Aye, not many would have the respect to call it a city, but I'm glad that you do, indeed.
Small places of the world like us need to stick together. Moordrake, Whitevale have a lot more in common than many would admit.
Aye, are we thinking so? Could you direct us to the nearest place we can warm up and rest our head, and perhaps cook up this game we've brought into town?
Oh, successful hunting. Well, good, fair tidings to you. There is if you'd like it blessed, there is a shrine to Aristogoras in town, but that's only if you're a religious sort. And well, I'm not sure. Were you given like a religious education? Do you think? Were you taught about gods and goddesses?
I think definitely about Tarra.
Mm-hmm. Were you taught about other... Tarra is a demigoddess. Were you taught about perhaps the other demigods and goddesses?
Is she related to an actual god in any way? Like, I don't know.
No, she was once a person.
Just once a person, just ascended to the status of demigod. Okay. In that case, I don't know. I mean, it depends on what the world is like, I guess.
Which, by the way, is really rare. Tarra is respected by a lot of adventurers for that reason. Not just that she is the demigoddess of adventure, but just like most of the demigods are like the spawn of gods, right? But she had to like work for it. It's kind of like she's like, that's the dream, you know?
That's the dream, yeah, the American dream. You get to be demigod, yeah.
It's, you know, only 0.00001% of us can attain it, but
yeah, that's
we all
the end goal of adventure. Oh,
okay. I just had to turn off my camera real quick.
No worries.
So yeah, they. Why don't you just roll a religion check? We'll see if you know about this particular.
Sure. Do you have a DC in mind?
It's DC 10. It's easy. Just to know of it.
Oh no.
You think you've heard of Aristogoras?
Okay.
You think that it is. You think that it might be the god of. You think it might be the god of cheeses and making cheese.
I say to him, well, I do think maybe a good cheese could go well with the venison we have caught. Maybe I will pay the shrine a visit. But as for the hearth, have you to know of any?
And they look very confused at this, and they look like they're gonna say something, but one of them goes, yes, there's a couple of pubs in town for drinking, but if you're looking for a good place to stay, I would go to the Old Boar Inn. It's down the main road here, and when you reach the center of town, you'll see a large structure with a wooden carving of a boar out front. Can't miss it.
Does the Old Boar have a common room with a fire? Tables.
Yes. It's also services as a tavern.
Excellent. Thank you, friends. I will. Oh, and one last thing. This has been a while since we set off. Do you know of a man called James Morley? Maybe he's an important man. I didn't write down what his title was, but I have a faint memory that he might have actually been like a reeve, maybe, or something. But if not,
there was a man.
Oh, now
and his name was Morley.
Now I'm getting the impression that Marshall's notes do not have immediately this man's name.
They have him.
Okay, cool.
He says. No, I was just
fucking with me. Okay, good. You know,
he says that would be the Reeve of Whitevale.
I got it.
He's sort of the appointee of Whitevale and the lands surrounding it. But yeah, he's a good man and keeps the peace, keeps everyone well fed, and he's a local, which is something we like. And he says,
direct me as to where I can find him.
Oh, yes, he would be in the village hall, or the town hall, city hall, whatever it is. It's a hall of sorts. And he says it's a large structure, wide and tall. It's got red and blue paint on it, and it has a high flag flying our nation's colors.
And I would understand.
Actually, wouldn't be the nation's colors. It would be the colors of White Peak.
Gotcha. Okay.
Colors of the barony.
Yes. Remind me what Norfold is again, or is that also about?
Norfold is the duchy.
The duchy. Now I remember.
So the Norfold is the larger conglomerate of territories, and then White Peak is the smaller one.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Which is within Norfold.
And then Westlock is a duchy that contains Westlock, Moorland, and Sawspire, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Right, gotcha. Okay. Alright, cool. I'm back to it. Cool, I thank the men for their information, and I would like to head to the Old Boar first.
Cool. Yeah, so you one of them... Actually...
Go ahead.
What? Oh, I was just gonna say that the gate was closed, so one of them yells up to the tower, "Open the gate!" And the gate opens, and you are.
Is it a wooden gate, or is it made of stone?
It is. It is wooden reinforced with steel.
With steel. Cool. Yeah.
And but it does have a stone gate house over it and around it. Yeah. Yeah. It essentially looks like a really sturdy wood that has these steel or iron brackets that go across it. So the gate is opened up, and you guys are allowed in to the city. You probably get there. Yeah, I mean, you woke up early, so you probably get there in the middle of the the later afternoon,
like
probably around
5.
Yeah, I'm thinking around that time. It wouldn't be late at night if you left at a decent time. And there are probably everyone is getting the people that are sort of craftsmen and workers are getting off work, heading to the shops, and some of them are going to the pubs and the Old Boar in particular.
I asked Ragnar, whose turn is it to deal with the lodgings tonight?
Oh, it's a bit hard to. I think it's mine. He says.
Okay, you take the most of the group. I will go speak with Mr. Morley, and Sandro. Maybe you can take that pelt to someone who knows what to do with it. Either get coin or something made out of it.
He nods and says, "I'll take it to a leather worker in town."
And does anybody want to come with me? Because I didn't like explicitly say it, but I'd look around to see if anybody objects to me going to speak to James on my
own. I think Kristen just asks, so you're speaking to him about the boy then? Where we're gonna find him?
Aye.
Well, yes. Would you like anyone to take care of your dog while you're gone?
Oh, I look down and I've forgotten him a little bit. Give him a little scratch behind the ears, and I'll say, well, you all, do your part. I'm sure he can look after himself for the most part. Make sure he doesn't get into any trouble.
You just leave him in the street?
No, I give it to them, but I don't.
Oh, okay. Okay, so Kristen takes him. And
it's not like I have a leash or anything, so I can't just I don't just give it. I usher him towards.
Of course.
I can say, what's that? I'll say, I'll tell him to move. He does not listen to me.
And Sir Renault and Kristen just kind of have to start pushing him.
Yeah, I told you. I don't know. I cannot command him to come with you, so you're going to have to deal with him. Yeah.
We
told you we should not have fed him all that wolf meat. It is bad for dogs.
It's cannibalism.
Different species, I think. I do not know. Anyway, let's go. And I'm gonna head off to the.
It's so close. It'd be like us eating chimp meat.
I could go.
Weird.
I could go for some chimp meat.
Fuck no, that is basically cannibalism. Holy shit!
Look, when you draw the line there, it's a slippery slope to vegetarianism. Is all I'm saying.
Why is that a bad thing?
It's not necessarily. It's just not the way I live. It's just not the way I live.
So. When you draw if you draw the line at chimp meat, then why can't I have cows?
Right? Yeah.
What other exotic meats are off the table? Flamingos? Hippopotamus? Anyway,
I could go for flamingo. I bet I'd really like flamingo meat. I could go for flamingo.
Rough.
Yeah. I really like my poultry. I'm pretty sure it would taste similar.
My god. My god. Too much. Okay, so You head off to meet with James, and the rest of the party heads to the Old Boar.
Except for Alessandro, who's going to a leather worker.
Except for Alessandro, who's going to a leather worker. And for a while, you guys are all walking down the same street, because it's kind of all in the center of town. Eventually, you get to a kind of craftsman's, sort of a guild area, and Alessandro heads down that alleyway towards that area, immediately gets mugged, stabbed, and killed. We'll hear from him later. No, I'm just kidding. And eventually you reach sort of a large town square, sort of atrium area, and to your like the guard says, there's a big structure with basically a big carved boar outside. It's like a statue. It's like a wooden statue that's been painted many times. You can tell there's flecking paint on it, and the rest of the party heads in there, and you walk towards. You can see the big blue and red, broad barn-like structure with the flag flying on top, and the banner flying on top.
A city hall or a village hall?
It's hard to say. It's a hall of sorts.
Can I make like a history check to try and figure it out?
If it's important to you, I'll make a call. It's a regional hall. No.
Oh no! Oh no! This is I've got to reclassify all of my previously understood halls.
It's a town hall. It's a town hall.
Cool. Good to know. Now, Reeves, I want to get a sense before.
You can tell this town does have a similar population to Moordrake. You think it's probably something like. It's smaller than a city, but bigger than your average town, basically. That's kind of what Moordrake is in. So it's probably around 10,000 people live here. So definitely sizable, but not big enough to be like an impressive city. But enough to have guilds and bars and all sorts of stuff, right? We will call it a town hall just for fun. So you get to the door.
Before I want to go in, I want to get a sense of like where like Reeves sits essentially. So like Reeves are appointed by the Baron, right?
Reeves are going to be appointed by the Baron to run a town. So a Reeve could be appointed to run anything from a tiny village that has 50 people in it to, in some cases, a larger city. Yep. Although traditionally, larger cities are going to have, if they're especially large, are going to have their own mayors, their own Lord Mayor, who is something that is probably it's not at that point they're not a nobility, but like it's definitely higher up than a Reeve. Mm-hmm. But most towns are going to be towns and villages and such, and even some small cities are going to be run by these Reeves, which are kind of just like a bureaucrat, right? Yeah. They sometimes are appointed from a town's population, and that's probably more ideal. Okay. But occasionally they might be pulled from another town, right? So I mean, the guard said, he's from the town, which is something we like, right? Implying that, he did say that.
From the nobility, or are they more frequently selected from the like?
They're usually just a freeman, just someone they were probably a merchant or a craftsman who got appointed to be the Reeve. Because the Reeve doesn't actually control the land of the town in the way that a noble actually controls land. And you can imagine in past, like occasionally a Reeve who was from a different city gets appointed and everyone doesn't trust them or like them. They're viewed as like someone who's come there to tell them what to do. Whereas if you're from the town, they're viewed more as like, oh, they're like a good guy. That's Joe. He's stand up, right? So you know that James Morley is one of those people. He's from the town. Anything else you want to know about Reeves?
So like this sort of town, Whitevale, would the land be owned by the Baron then? Or would it,
yes.
Is there a chance there might be? Okay. All right.
This is probably barren land, yeah.
Okay. All right, that's all I need to... just to confirm, I assume the answer is yes, all the answers you've given, but just in case I've missed something, I'm a higher social rank than him.
Mm-hmm. Okay. It is complex. Sort of, I mean, there would be a kind of a social tension between you two. Mm-hmm. Whether you are aware of it as a character, and whether the Reeve really cares about it. But there might be a sort of passive social tension in the same way that you can have a minor noble who is technically of a higher rank than like the head of a guild. But if that guild is making thousands of gold coins every year and they're super powerful, then that in practical terms, that guild master is more powerful than that noble.
Yeah.
But by the law of the land,
Yeah.
the noble is on a higher status. So there is a kind of social tension anytime you have a situation like this. Like, in many ways, this guy is of a higher social state. He definitely has more practical power than you. But yes, socially and by law, he is you are his better, as it were.
Okay, cool. That's fine. All right, cool. Yeah, I will follow the procedures. I'll tell anybody my business and see what happens.
Yeah, so you approach. There's guards at the front doors, but unless you say anything to them, they don't say anything to you, and they don't stop you if you like open the doors.
Okay, then
they just seem to be there as security.
Yeah, then I'll just nod, give them a nod, and head in.
Yeah, as soon as you nod, they're like, "Okay, too friendly," and they kick you out.
No, I spit in their face and I walk in.
That's every airport security guard I've ever dealt with. It's like, if you look sad and depressed, I usually am left alone. But if you smile and nod, they're like, too shady. He's hiding something. It's like, anyway, honestly, but yeah, you open.
The weirdest things was like flying in the Schengen zone that one time, because there was so much less bullshit you had to go through. Obviously, there was security, but like, yeah, it was so weird. And then I went on a train. I've told the story before, but maybe not on a podcast or anything. But like, I went on a train from France to the UK, and it had about as much security as like as a regular flight would, because if you're traveling out of the border.
Yeah. I mean, the craziest it's ever been for me was the flight back from Ireland. I didn't actually go to Ireland, but we funneled hopped through Ireland. The plane from Dublin to Chicago. Like, I had to go through 3 different security checkpoints to get on that plane. Like, we had to go through Irish security, we had to go through TSA, and then a second TSA screening. And I was just like, what the it was great. It was the most security I'd ever gone through in my life.
On the Eurostar, in like the second like rung of security, they had like shops and restaurants and stuff, because they knew you'd be there that long.
Yeah. We know you're unhappy. Would you like to pay an exorbitant price for food to make yourself feel better? So you open the door to a wide and warm, bright hall. There are inside. It does not look like the room you've entered is the entire thing, but it's probably most of the building is this main hall that you've entered. And
you said it was
see
bright. I'm curious, is it like fire, or is it windows, or is it something else?
Fire and windows. There are both. The windows are made out of a kind of foggy glass. They don't have really good glass in this town, so it's not like really clear, but it lets in some light. And there's plenty of braziers lit with fire, and a pretty big hearth on one side of the room. Is it
impressive to me that they have glass at all? Like, or is shutters usually the thing, or is the fact that it's foggy? Am I used to?
Yeah, glass of any kind is definitely expensive. Your house would have had them, but most of the buildings in Moordrake, for example, don't have glass.
And then with our house,
and probably most of the buildings here don't have glass. Like, you didn't see a lot of glass as you were walking through.
And I might have missed it a little bit, but you mentioned that perhaps there is some clearer glass right now in this era. So, like, have I seen any of it anywhere? You don't have to. Like, if
you might have seen some when you were in the actual castle at Castle Gormland.
Okay. So our house is foggy like this.
Probably, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it's weird. The clear glass is, unless the person is like a glass connoisseur, probably most people don't care that much.
Yeah.
It's like VR. It's like, if you want to spend the money on it, great. But like, so you get you see several people that look like, some of them look like commoners, and some of them look like they might be magistrates or some sort of bureaucrat. And some of them are talking in groups, and there appears to be a essentially like a work desk, a big work desk at the far end of this place near the hearth. And There are several men and women sitting around it with paperwork, writing things down, and speaking to a short line of people who occasionally one of them will walk up to the desk and speak to them. Do you get in line, or do you go to the front of the line? You get the feeling that none of these are nobles, so maybe you feel like exercising your noble privilege, or do you just wait?
Okay, so you've preempted one of my questions, so good to know that one. I was gonna like scope them out to see what I thought of them, but I got two.
They all look. Most of them look like. Two of them look like farmers. Two of them look like craftsmen. They're wearing simple clothes.
Okay, I got two like external questions that came to me while I was thinking, and then I got one about the line. So first of all, when I was walking around town, did I see an internal tower of any kind, or were the only towers the ones on the walls?
Only the ones on the walls. Cool. There's no internal keep.
Yeah, so I assume this is probably where any legal stuff goes on.
Yeah.
So, what was I? Oh yes, did they take my weapons at the door?
No.
At the gates. Okay. All right, interesting. So, and then my question about the line is, how long do I think it would take if I got in line?
You get the sense that if each person takes 5 minutes, it's probably going to take you about 20 minutes to a half an hour.
I get in line then. Yeah, absolutely. I walk
7
I will
years
walk.
late.
I will walk majestically towards the line in a very like pompous way, and then I'll stand still.
And everyone, some of the commoners are like, "Ooh, a noble," and then when you stand still, like, "Oh fuck, a ghoul! Kill it! Kill it with fire!" A fire arrow shoots at you from like a fucking murder hole. You're like, ah!
I would die. If someone shot me with a fire arrow, I would die.
Yeah. So, as you're sitting, it's what's the word? The acoustics in this place are pretty good, so you can kind of hear the peasants in front of you talking. And basically their issue, each of them has an issue. 3 of them are just requests. So like one of them is like something like, I'm wondering if we could get, so one of them is a farmer and he asked if he could get a patrol sent to his farm once a week because he's worried that there are wolves picking off some of his animals. And so he's asking for some more protection to his farm. And they negotiate and they discuss the possibility of a patrol investigating the local area. And so the 3 of them are requests of that sort of nature. And then one of them is a dispute, sort of more of a legal dispute, where someone has basically accuses his neighbor of stealing one of his chickens. And
you're a chicken chaser? Is that what you do? Do you chase chickens?
And basically the group of people at the table ask him a bunch of questions about this, and they say that they basically speak to a man who was standing on the other side of the room to come over, and they ask him to go with the man to ask questions of his neighbor and investigate further. So then they finally leave the room, and then you're at the table, and you see a woman with a line of paperwork, and she says, "Next."
I walk up, and then I stop, and I say, "Hello, I am Tarius Gladwin Jr. Of Tarra's Fist. I am here to see James Morley on business for the Baron of Moordrake." The man in the center, who's wearing this very nice hat, and he's wearing fine clothes, and he could definitely fit in at a noble event. He could pretend to be a noble if he wanted to. Mm-hmm. He says, "Aha! Well, I am Mr. Morley. Did you say your name? I didn't catch it." Yes, I said my name. My fault.
And he says, "From what if I do remember," and he turns and whispers something to his neighbor and says, "You are of House Gladwin."
That is correct, yes.
Ah, well, Lord Gladwin, is this something that should be discussed in private, or can it be discussed here among my colleagues?
Oh, please, please. Lord Gladwin is my father. You can call me TJ. Now.
You can call me Lordy, or Lorge, if you will. Lord,
Lord in charge. No. I say, well, I'm not usually one for secrecy, but I think perhaps matters involving the Baron are perhaps best left to discretion. If you had somewhere we could speak in private, it probably would be better for him if we do.
He nods and says, Carolyn...
Can I retcon what I said? I didn't say... I just realized what I did. I didn't say... If I can change Baron to Regent, because I probably wouldn't say Baron.
Fuck it. He's like, oh, here's the Baron. We've heard news that he was taking over. Well, then you have validated his rule! No, he says, okay, you say Regent.
Yeah. Sorry.
And maybe you even say Baron, I mean Regent.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know.
I forgot, so let's say Tarius forgot.
Yeah, so Tarius actually fucked up and then corrected himself.
Yeah, sure.
And then he says, well, yes, he turns to Carolyn and says, Carolyn, it seems that there's no more, oh, never mind. And 3 more people walk through the door and he says, well, I'm sure you can handle whatever their issues are. I'm sure that Mr. Lord Gladwin, TJ. I'm sure TJ's issues are more pressing than the common trivialities of the day. And he stands up and says, "Why don't you come with me? I have an office we can discuss things in."
Cool. I'll follow.
And he takes you through a door on the right, and you find yourself. I think one of the things you're noticing is since there's no nobles in sight, that is probably also why you're used to guards being much more like watchful. Mm-hmm. But since even the Reeve is in some way just a bureaucrat, the guards are like if you killed him, they could replace him. So they're not that.
Oh, okay. I take out my swords. I am.
You're used to guards being a bit more paranoid, or more like watchful. And so, but these guys are just kind of like, ugh. So you walk past a guard in the hall who's kind of like taking a nap. As soon as he sees the Reeve, he wakes up. He's like, and the Reeve actually stops and says, "Oh, Peter, I haven't seen you on patrol in a while. How's the kids?" And he speaks to him for a few minutes, and then continues walking. And you find yourself in an office that he sits down behind a large desk, and there's some comfy sitting chairs facing the desk. And he says, "Well, what? So you said you're representing you've come here on account of Regent business, Regent Moorland. Oh, what was that old man's name? I believe something.
Yes, I believe something was the name.
I can't remember his name.
Yeah,
it's here somewhere. But anyway, he says,
we say his name. we progress with it.
It's the Regent.
Yeah, the Regent.
He's a Regent of sorts.
He is. His name's Reginald. Reginald Baron of the First.
His name is Lord Ralton, is the Regent. So he says, Lord Ralton. Yes. I don't believe I've ever met him, but I've heard he's running things there. And you're coming to look for who again? Oh, what's your business? I don't know if you told me.
Suspicious.
I didn't kidnap him.
I'm here to look for the young missing Baron, Mr. Young Peter.
Oh dear! He says, I see. Peter. Yes, and you believe he is in Whitevale?
Perhaps. We have here that, we have good evidence that the goblins who took him came this way. I was told to talk to you about anything you might know about local goblins.
Ah, yes. Goblins. They are somewhat of a scourge in the area. If the goblins took him, I think I may know where he has been taken.
Do tell.
Uh, well, I have sent scouts and patrols and to try to hunt down and bring these goblins to justice on multiple occasions. They have, in some cases, attacked our farmers. They have never been so bold as to attack the city, the town proper, but they have on many occasions attacked some of our farmers. In one special case, they burned a farm to the ground and killed the entire family that lived there. Since that happened, I have tried to take a proactive approach to stop them. But there are many of them, and they are held up in a structure that is difficult to deal with. I have written to the local, or I have written to the Baron about this, but well, it seems there are more pressing matters than goblins in White Peak. Anyway, there is a old fortress that many legends surround the place, but at some point long ago, it sunk into a ravine. It's probably about 2 hours hike north of here. A ravine that splits down from the mountains, and the fortress is buried inside it. Well, not buried under it, but you know what I mean. It's in the ravine itself. From what we understand, the goblins use it as a sort of strange fortress. I mean, it is a fortress after all, but hardly usable since it's in ravine. Only goblins think of such things, I suppose. Yes, we have heard of goblins. We have also heard of kobolds inhabiting the ruin. We're not sure if they are antagonists to each other or not, but we have seen both. The kobolds are not as violent as the goblins, and so I have not worried as much about them.
What is a kobold?
Oh, it is a sort of like a. Have you seen a lizard before?
I think so. Yes.
It's like a walking, talking lizard creature, but they're very small, probably about as big as a halfling, maybe even a little smaller than a halfling, and they are, they're rather wild creatures. Very few of them live on the island, but there are apparently some in the old fortress. The goblins are an eternal mystery. No records speak of goblins elsewhere in Housestart. We have never understood how they got here, but they are here, and, well, it seems that they may have taken your Peter. Well, not your Peter, but Peter.
He's our Peter. He's our Baron. Okay. You said these goblins were giving the town some trouble.
Yes, on occasion they have attacked farms in the outskirts of town. There are many farming families that live outside of Whitevale and come here for trade. Probably about 200 families are scattered around the valley. All of them are considered citizens of Whitevale, and some of them have been attacked by the goblins.
Well, if you said the Baron does not have the resources to deal with this problem, perhaps you could enter into a more formal arrangement with the Fist, since we are here.
He smiles and says, so it seems that your job is to rescue the boy, but you are insinuating that you would not be against dealing with my goblin problem.
It's a astute summary, my reef.
Well, our resources are limited also, but I may be able to offer a reward if you were able to kill the goblins, or at least scatter them, so that they do not return to the keep.
Well, I am not one to deal with the small details. How about if I arrange a meeting with my treasurer in the morning?
He smiles and says, "You're a man to bring a treasurer through a mountain pass on a mission."
I will be honest. It was a bit of a mistake. But she is here now. But she is here now, and once she has some
Roasted!
and once
Fucking
and once she has some food and she has slept off her horrible travels, I'm sure she will be more than happy to arrange details with you. She is a very intelligent and resourceful ally. But indeed, mountain climber, she is not. Wizard, she is not.
He looks strangely and he says, "Are you a wizard then?"
No, but she claims to be. Hence why I use the.
Kristen has never called herself a wizard.
Gotcha. Okay. No, but she shares similar traits with such people, and thus I judge her against the mad one that I met only a few days ago, and he was much better at it than she was. He had his own. He has his own tower. He had his own books.
I see. There was once such a person here many years ago before I was born, but he died before I was born. Well, if you are interested in helping us with our problem, I'm sure we could negotiate something with your treasurer friend. Or treasurer, not a friend, I don't know. Anyway, we can negotiate a deal with the treasurer, something that would be commissary, but also within our budget. Yeah. Are you planning on heading out to the Sunless Citadel tomorrow? Or I presume not tonight. Or are you going tonight?
I shake my head. I suppose I see no reason to delay the trip. Unless you have any more advice for me. Weather, trails, hunting season, whatever. I'm willing to listen, but if there is no delay, then I see no reason not to set off in the morning.
There's a few things, I suppose, that come to mind. In some cases, reports have come to us, and they have always been mysterious. But in some cases, where we believed goblins were responsible, the facts of the matter seemed to be strange. There have been cases where cattle have been found dead, bearing dozens of needle-like wounds, very small, precise. And from what we understand, the goblins have always used spears, axes, clubs, things like that. Nothing that precise. In each case, we thought it was rather strange. So there's that to consider. I don't know if it has to do with what's going on at the Sunless Citadel, but something to keep in your mind, I suppose. While you're there, you might want to keep a lookout. There was a band of adventurers who went into the keep about a month ago. They haven't returned. It's likely that they are dead, but if you see them or find them, there is a woman in town who would probably be able to pay for the return of her son or daughter, even if it was simply a body. Her name is Carowyn Hucriel. She owns a general store. And she is a noble like yourself.
Interesting. What were the capabilities of this adventuring party?
They were, I believe one of them was a sort of a brass taxes sort of fighting man, a warrior. There was a wizard, from what I recall, someone who used magic and the like, of an arcane nature. There was, of course, Sir Bradford, who I was familiar with. He was a local knight who decided to join the group, and he was a knight of Barondor, a member of the local church. I believe he wield certain powers from his god, a paladin, basically. and there was a forester, a ranger of sorts, who lived farther from Whitevale, out in the woods. And I believe he went on the journey. It was Talgan Hookreel, Sharwin Hookreel. That was the war and the wizard. Sir Bradford, as I said, and the ranger was Carakas. I don't know much about the ranger. The Hookreels I know a little bit about, met them occasionally. And Bradford I was very familiar with. It's just a shame he died. Or, well, if he's not dead, then that is fantastic news, but a month is a very long time to be in such a place.
And which body is the one that the noblewoman would want recovered?
Either of her children, Talgan or Sharwin Hookreel. The warrior and the wizard were both her children.
Gotcha. You said you were familiar with the wizard. Do you know perhaps of the most impressive thing that they would have...
No. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. He was familiar with it. Yeah. What's the most impressive thing they would have done?
Yeah. I'm going to get a gauge of, like, spells.
Oh, what kind of spell? I believe the wizard could create a meteor swarm! I don't know why that's funny.
It's a really high-level spell, and it's called Meteor Swarm, and it's pretty OTT, so when you say it in a funny voice, it's funny, because it's like, Meteor Swarm!
One of my favorite memes is, like, when I'm a wizard, anytime I'm going to cast a very weak spell, I'm like, I cast Meteor Swarm! And then I say what the spell really is. He says, well, I'm no expert, but I believe. I mean, she was young, still learning, perhaps much like your treasurer. But
No, I believe that there's certain gifts you are born with, and I do not think Kristen will ever aspire to such things.
That's rough. I believe that she was. She could. I remember that she performed a trick in one of the taverns I heard once. She made many men fall asleep using magic. And I believe that she could dazzle the eyes with bright and vibrant colors. Those are the two things I've heard about. I'm sure she could do other such things.
Yes. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Well, I say, I am very concerned about your reports of the small wounds. But I do not know how to act on that information. So, I think we will set off in the morning after your meeting with Kristen.
Of course. If you're... Oh, what?
I'm sure Kristen can work out the details exactly. But I am aware that such a mission to bring back bodies and the provisions that I have hiked through the mountain with, I would make it known now that I think as part of this arrangement, we would like a cart or a wagon of some sort. For carrying such things even 2 hours is, well, it may, every little thing can lead to losing a comrade.
He nods and says, I am certain that if you speak to Lady Hookreel, she would have such a wagon that she could offer you. I have no doubt she would do so if you offer to bring her children back if you find them.
That is a good piece of advice. Thank you, Reef.
And he says, where are you staying tonight?
The boar. The wild boar? Happy boar?
The old boar.
Old boar.
He says, Yes, that is good. I would suggest you might ask Garen. He's the barkeep there. I forget what it was, but he once told a story about something having to do with the old Sunless Citadel. He might know more, something useful. And well, if you need any healing in town, it is we are lucky to have a blessed priest of Brondor, Corky. She has a gnome who works at the nearby temple.
Thank you. I will keep that in mind. You'll be very useful. If you could perhaps have a letter sent to the board, arranging the exact details of your meeting time with Kristen, I'm sure she would appreciate it.
He nods and says, "Of course, it will be done."
Cool.
It was very good to meet you, Tarius. I have heard of Tarra's Fist, and I have long thought that such organizations are good for the stability of the realm. If not, at times, a bit well, I am sure that you would never prey on the poor in their times of need.
I don't put much thought in the matter.
So what do you mean? Do you mean when you take their money when they need it?
That is not the business that we are in, friend. We are not highwaymen. We do jobs for coin and occasionally for reciprocal jobs. I do not see this advantageous, exploitative dimension that you have suggested as ever factoring into the work that I do.
Well, it is only that my father was also a reeve in another town, which is why I was chosen for the job. Partially why, but he dealt with a band of mercenaries once called the Band of Bravos, and they were, well, they have a habit of coming to people at their lowest and extracting more than they were capable of giving. That's all I mean.
I tend to stay away from clients that I do not think can pay us. You're right, the relationship is not healthy. Though?
He nods and says, well, in any event, the things I have heard of Tarra's Fist are good, although I have heard less and less about your organization in recent years.
Yes, I dare say it might be because of the hazardness of that damn mountain pass. If we could get perhaps something a little bit more well-tamed and take it back from those dwarves, then maybe we could get a little bit more business across the mountains. Not as it is. Have you heard of the 3 towers?
Yes, I have traveled the pass before.
What did you do on the second day?
We camped.
Oh, there's nothing for it. Nothing for it at all.
To be fair, it has been many years since I have traveled. I was just a boy at the time.
I have heard of these inventions. These rolls that when you open them become beds. These are strange things to me. But maybe it will make camping a little easier if I can find one. But that is a story for another day.
When you open, they become beds?
Rolls.
He says you do not have a bedroll.
No, you would think that I would. But I do not.
Well, he says, well, when you visit Carowin, maybe we can buy one from her.
I am afraid I cannot carry anything else, and I point to the massive, basket, which originally just had my produce in it, but is now overflowing with venison and wolf meat and everything.
Meat.
I am afraid I carry forage with me everywhere I go. The bow, it is heavier than it looks. It is a long bow. I show it to him, and I'm like, I also.
By the way, you could split up the rations among your party members. You don't have to
but
carry.
they don't have inventories, and it's gonna get messy. And I'm gonna say they have something, and you're gonna be like, "Well, it's not anywhere written down." So,
If you'd like, I could create a normal character sheet and just call it like the other people's inventory, and you could use it to add the items to.
I think what I'm gonna do instead is midweek I'll just convert the 4 that are with me into regular characters, because everything that's on the NPC sheet you can probably just do with features and stuff. And I know it's a lot cleaner in the NPC sheet, but if we're gonna use their inventory, I think it's probably better to have like a proper sheet.
Yeah, if you want to do that, that's totally fine. I don't mind. I think it's just comes at the cost of it being a little more hassle to like click things, but I mean, yeah, it's probably fine. So the honestly, I'm not sure what happens if you just click like on an NPC sheet, you just switch it to PC. Like, does the information carry over? I don't actually know.
I don't think so. I've been doing a bit of fucking around. I think you've got to like create them separately. Yeah, sadly.
Oh, that's too bad. So he says, I forget what the last thing that we talked about was. What was it?
You could buy a bedroll from the merchant.
Oh, bedroll, yeah. And you said, you can't carry it. He says, well, that is, I'm sure you know your business better than I do. It was excellent meeting you, TJ, and it's not. He wasn't making fun of you when he said that. He was like, he physically had to tell himself to say TJ.
Gotcha.
Like he was about to say Lord Gladwin again. Mm-hmm. But he says TJ. It is. I hope that you are successful on your mission, and well, if we meet again before you go, then that is fine. But if not, I will hopefully see you in the next week or so when you have returned from the place.
All right, cool. Yeah.
I mean, I suppose if all is successful, you'll return the day of, or if not the day later. I'm not sure. I've heard stories that few return, but I am certain that you are strong and constitutive and will do fine.
Goodbye, my friend. I'll head off.
Do you want to talk more? Anyway, he chases you. So you head. What?
Are you a chicken chaser? Is that what you do? Do you chase chickens?
So you head to the Redmoore Inn.
Yeah. Missing Alessandra's dragon story. Everybody's in fits of laughter about the dragon story, but I walk in and I've missed it, and I'm like, oh damn. Well, you'll have to tell it again another time, Alessandro.
No, Alessandro just showed up.
Oh, okay. Alessandro, the dragon story. Come on.
Do you have him say it to tell the story immediately?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So
you see. You see that, by the way, Alessandro has had the leather worker make the pelt into a reversible blanket / jacket. So like it can serve as a blanket or a jacket depending on what you do.
Cool.
He says, before I came to House Start, I wandered a bit, went to different places. Various islands in the sun-soaked sea, and I visited some of the cities in Ardra Majoris. One of them I visited was called Aegir. It is and Ragni says, "Oh, of course. I've heard of Aegir. Quite an impressive city, from what I have been told." And he says, yes, it is. It was once controlled by the halflings, the Erigians, hundreds of years ago. Their crowning jewel in the north. But I believe it was, 300 years ago? It fell to the dragons. Drakes, worms, Dozens of them now live there. They rule over a dragon kingdom. None of them were white. I saw a silver one, a bronze one, and a copper one when I was there, and many others in the distance flying above. It was a magnificent city with magnificent creatures. Very few elves. I felt like I was not at home there, which was very comforting to me.
See, I told you it would be a good story. I say, during the
He says there wasn't really an ending. What's the punchline?
yeah, some stories they don't need punchlines. They just need you to remember them.
I suppose. I think maybe there should be killing in it or something. And
There wasn't much of killing. The drakes, they killed all the people there. The halflings, the little ones. Oh, I could have seen them run in my head, running away from the dragon. The big dragon and the small halfling.
so you think there's something funny about small people running?
I try to stifle a laugh, and then I pick up another mug of ale and I say, no, I mean, you got the legs for it, you know, they're big and stout. The halflings, they just look like wee people, you know what I mean? Like us, but smaller. You're all well proportioned.
Well, it is a pity that the Arisians lost their city to such foul beasts.
I don't know. They looked pretty when I was looking at the one up on the mountainside. Sure, they're nice enough.
They look pretty from far away, but up close they have massive teeth. Claws as big as meat hooks.
Well, your teeth aren't too small yourself, Ragni. And you haven't been trimming your nails since we've been out on the trail.
He says, damn it, I'll get to it. He says they have quarreled with my kin on many occasions.
Well.
And the kin of my kin, and their kin too. Dragons like mountains, and dwarves like gold, and gold likes mountains, so we tend to get into fights.
Well, as much as I'm sure that such an eternal battle is interesting, I'm afraid it sounds like that is game too big for this bow. Now, let us eat. I have much news from the Reeve here, and I'll relate to them everything.
I hate him. No, anyway.
I killed him. I am the Reeve now. We own this city.
We are rulers. Let us drink to our success. Everyone in the bar's like, what? Who? What?
You will drink, or you will die.
I'm sorry. I drank so much already. Drink, you bastard! Don't you want to live? Watch a man get kidney failure because he forces another drink.
This is a better fate than what I would have done to it.
By the way, didn't you say once you had like kidney problems because you drank too much water? What was that?
Oh yeah, no, I did have kidney problems because I drank too much water. Yeah.
How much water was it when you drank too much? Was it like 3 liters?
I think it was like approaching 15.
15?
Yeah, they had these like 5-liter kegs, and I went through 2 of them, and I like started on a 3rd that day.
Christ. Okay, I guess you could drink a lot more than I thought. I accidentally found a YouTube channel the other day where there's a guy who just chugs drinks.
Yeah.
And he chugged 5 liters of water in 3 minutes.
Oh, I think I could do that. 5 liters?
Fuck no. You couldn't do it in 3 minutes.
This is 2. This is 2 liters. No, it's not. I think it's 1.5. It is 1.5. So you said 5, right? So it would be like 3 of these plus like a little bit more. I go through this in a minute or 2, like casually. So I don't know.
Christ. That's a lot. Anyway,
I don't know. 3 minutes. It sounds like a long time, but it probably isn't when you're doing it. So
yeah,
it's interesting though.
I would die. It would kill me. Anyway,
it might kill me. I mean, it almost did. Yeah, I didn't drink 15 liters in like 3 minutes. It was like across like a 6 or 7 hour period. Yeah.
It probably had to pee a lot.
That was the problem. I didn't. part of the problem. Yeah.
That's a bad sign. You're like, I drank 20 gallons of water, but I don't pee. I'm invincible.
Why is my stomach hurting so badly?
Why am I bleeding? Anyway, why am I vomiting blood? Anyway, so you you tell them all about the Reeve and his and his offer, or sort of the possibility of an arrangement, and some of the information that he gave you.
Yeah.
And they all nod, and Alessandro says, "I suppose we know where we're headed."
This is a long time ago. Did I get my arrow back out of the caribou?
Roll a d4.
Sure.
No.
Okay. Alright. So yeah, what was Alessandro about to say?
I mean, I should correct. You physically could get the arrow, but it was completely fucked. You know, like you couldn't use it again. Yeah, basically.
I will take the arrowhead then.
Nice.
Yeah.
You have the arrowhead.
Cool. Because I think that's probably the hard part. You just get someone to fletch the rest of it.
So yeah, what'd you say?
Alessandro was about to say something before I interrupted you.
Oh, Alessandro just says, so that is where we're going then? This Sunless Citadel? That's where Peter is?
Yes, we have heard about this place before, I think, from the Mad Wizard of Gormland. Yes, I suppose. We will... There are apparently these walking lizard men that may be allies or maybe just enemies of our enemies. There may also be adventurers.
Alessandro says, lizard folk in the place.
Yes, like, that's what I was described. They were like lizard men, but they were small lizard men.
Ah. Well, lizard folk are 7 feet tall the last time I met one. I think that they are probably kobolds.
Ooh, I see. Well, I think that is
You were
the
told.
word he was using. Yeah, but Tarius has tenant. Sometimes he forgets. Like he's just an average intelligence guy. He's
Alessandro says, well, I think that...
I had half a mind when the guy said they were about as tall as a halfling for Tarius to go, what is a halfling?
Sorry, it's definitely the halflings. There were halflings in Moordrake.
Okay.
Yeah, Alessandro says, well, kobolds are unpredictable, but from what I've heard, they can be negotiated with in some situations. Goblins are much more violent, I've heard.
Okay, good. Well, maybe we don't have to kill everything we find. That would be preferable.
Did the Reeve want us to kill the kobolds?
Wanted us to kill the goblins. Or scatter them. But...
Huh. So, I suppose we could. Okay, well, that's good. Excellent.
Yep.
If
I don't have to do any frontline fighting, then that would be preferable.
Oof. What's this term, frontliner?
It's the front line of a war band. You know how there are multiple lines. You at the start, you have the shield men. In the second, you have the pikemen. And then in the third, you have the swordmen who stab at the things you walk over. And then in the fourth line, you have the bows.
Men with rocks, and they throw the rocks.
Yes. Right, so the front line, Alessandro, is the front line.
Alessandro says, I hate you, you know, I hate you. I will kill you in your sleep.
And when you do, the bow will be yours. But until then, you will live in my shadow, always plotting, always scheming. Now.
To be fair, this scheme would just be letting you sleep, and you would die.
Oh, what a tricky one you are. What a tricky scheme that would be.
Your heart would just give out. Anyway, Alessandro
But you
says
couldn't do it, could you, Alessandro? I see it in your eyes. I see the sympathy. I see the love.
Damn you, I hate you, I hate you. Anyway, this is so weird. Alessandro says, okay, that's fine.
Dust herself off from the alternate reality. I tell obviously Kristen knows she's got some negotiating to do. I leave out the bits where I like absolutely
totally. shit on her. Yeah. Just
eviscerate her career.
went out of your way to make fun of her. It totally was like not important to the conversation. He didn't even. He was like, "She's a treasure," and you're like, "She's not a fucking wizard."
That's true. That's exactly what I did.
It'd be like if you're like, "Oh, who is Joe an accountant?" Well, he's no fucking comedian, I can tell you that. Just like going out of your way to just fucking make fun of.
I'm gonna do that from now on. If you ever ask me that kind of question, like, is he your friend? Well, he ain't my fucking wife. I can tell you that for a fact.
Like, but who is he?
Well, you're telling me.
I don't know. Yeah. Okay.
Also,
cool.
I asked Kristen if it's still like reasonably early, if she can go and deal with the shopkeep lady. Because she's the negotiator, the admin lady, and like, you know, that kind of thing.
Oh, you want her to head out right now and do it?
Yeah, tonight at some point, whenever she thinks is the best time.
She thinks now is the best time before they close.
I think she's right.
She heads out.
Okay, I also
runs.
ask her. Okay, fine. All right, she's cool.
No, just kidding. What were you gonna say? She wouldn't really sprint. She would just get up.
I'm thinking it's not time for Tarius to buy a bedroll. Sorry, I'm gonna leave it. It's gonna be 2 hours,
Nice.
alright?
You could always buy one first thing in the morning. I mean, if you decide that's
No, I think I'm gonna head out. Yeah, we're gonna head out and like we're gonna spend like 4 hours in there. Or maybe like 2.5. And then if we have like if it's obvious that there's more, we'll go back to the town. If we can get out even. So
Cool.
yeah.
Excellent. So you oh yeah, do you talk to the barkeep?
Oh yeah,
Garen?
yeah, I do actually. Yeah.
Okay. So you walk up and Ragni has already spoken to the barkeep and gotten drinks and food for the table. But when you walk up to him, he says, "Hey, how can I help you? Is the food all right? Are the drinks good? Anything you need? Anything?"
Hello, I was told to ask you about a story about the fortress to the north of here.
No! The Sunless Citadel.
Yes.
Ah, yes.
You know,
Well,
at night every citadel becomes sunless, you know.
But it's sunless in the day. That's the point, ain't it?
If you build it without with a proper roof, then
No, the outside is sunless. Damn it, man.
Okay. Wait, I thought it was in a ravine, so surely some of the sun gets onto it.
Oh, only on certain days of the year.
Well, I feel like we're dismantling this already. I don't know about this at all. Anyway, go on.
Mostly sunless citadel.
Mostly
just doesn't
sunless citadel. Okay. It's just like the nearly headless horseman. It's just like
we just all thought that was a dumb name. Anyway, but he says he says, well, it is rumored to have been used long ago, in an age-long past, as a keep for a warlord. That is what the story says, and that it fell into ruin, into the ravine, and well, everyone has told stories of the evil that has taken root in the Citadel over the years, though the specifics have always been not very specific. He says, however, there was word of an ancient vampire a long, long time ago that may have used the Citadel. Stories tell that he tried to conquer half of the island, but fell in battle. Anyway, good night. No, no. He says, if you don't mind me asking, what is your interest with the Citadel?
that is a boy that I am looking for, who I believe has been taken there by goblins.
Oh. I see, well.
Retrieve him. But what the fuck is a vampire?
Oh, a vampire. It is an undead monster which preys on the weak, sucks their blood while they're still alive.
Oh, see, now first I was afraid because you said preys on the weak, and that is me. But then you said sucks out their blood, and look, I don't have much of it anyway. So, you know...
You have enough!
Look, the circulation, it's really bad. I'm told that it's basically non-existent when I am asleep.
Shadow and mist. These are what the stories tell. I've never seen one or heard of one, but other than the one that died long.
I've never seen one or heard of one except for that one I heard of that I just told you about.
That one I've heard of, but no others. Anyway, in any event,
but he said he's dead. He said he fell in battle.
Yeah, fell in battle. Yeah. That's what I've been told.
Yeah.
And again,
see the body.
Oh, I didn't see it. He says, you know, there was some adventurers about a month ago who asked about the place.
Yes.
But very rarely has anyone. I've worked this bar my whole life, and the last time before that anyone has even shown the slightest interest in the Citadel, other than wanting to tell ghost stories, was 13 years ago. There was strange vomits. There was a grim-looking sort of human by the name of Belak, I think it was. Balak or Belak, I'm not sure how he pronounced it. He asked about the Citadel. The reason I remember him very clearly is he had a pet frog, but it was huge.
How big are we speaking here?
Oh, it's the size of a man. Bigger, in fact.
More round, more like because frogs, I imagine, if they're as tall as a man, would be quite big, like wide.
Yeah, I would say slightly shorter than a man, but much wider, much wider.
Much like a dwarf, then.
Even wider than a dwarf.
Oh, but short. But is it taller or shorter than a dwarf?
Slightly taller. It's somewhere between the height of a dwarf and a man, but wider than a dwarf.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Could it fit through that door there? I point to the entrance to the tavern.
Well, it did when it came here. Squeezed through. Terrified everyone inside. I asked it to stay outside.
Did it listen to you?
Oh, no, I asked Belak to take it outside, I should say. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Did he listen to you?
No.
Thank you again for letting my dog stay here. I pat Mosh.
Oh, I don't mind dogs. I like dogs. Just it was a big frog. Put everyone off.
Yes. Quite.
To be fair, that is a big dog, but I don't mind dogs. I've had many in my life. All died of horrible injuries, but
wait, what? Could you tell me more about it?
Well, many died of cancer, I suppose. Not that I know what cancer is, but one of them was killed recently, a few months ago. A bunch of needles found in him. Needle injuries. Like they were poked to death by something.
What is that? I'm very confused. I've heard multiple stories about that.
Oh, I thought it was weird too. It was terrible too. Strangest thing is, the dog was named Spiky. So it's rather
ironic.
It was a rather dark and grim death. But
are you looking for a new dog?
No, I mean, I'm always in the the market. Yes. Why?
Well,
you selling me your dog?
Never selling, but we walk a tough road.
Excellent.
We walk a tough road. Sometimes, perhaps, tougher than we should take animals on. You're interested.
And he says, well, what's his name?
His name is Mosh. He is named after a hill on the coastline up north.
Interesting. I believe there's only mountains up north. Didn't know there were hills.
The other side of the mountains. In Moordrake.
Oh, I don't know nothing about such things, but sounds like an interesting name. Mosh the dog. Oh yes. If you're in the neighborhood, if you're in the market to get rid of a dog, I'm in the market to take a dog. Sure. Mosh, come here. I will feed you and take care of you and love you, and you will not die like Spiky did.
For the last time, I will tell Mosh to move. And the DC's 11.
He refuses. he looks at me, he's like, and the bartender takes him and says, "Oh, you're mine now, and I'm gonna abuse the shit out of you, you mutt."
No.
He takes him behind.
Yeah.
Beats him. No, anyway.
Can I roll an insight check on this bartender? Oh, not 20. Is he gonna look after Mosh?
He's gonna look after him. He seems like a nice guy.
Good. Except for all the...
He seems like he's a. When he said he's had many dogs in his life, I don't think that's because he's not taking care of them. It's because he's really old and he's just, he's had quite a few dogs. But so you think he knows how to take care of a dog?
Yeah. Cool. All
yeah.
Right.
But he's like, you won't die like Spikey. I'll never let you leave my side. And he begins to pet Mosh and feeds him a bit of meat and Mosh immediately forgets about you. Garen says, good doing business with you. I'll tell you what, seeing as you gave me the dog, another round of drinks for your table on the house?
How about the bottle of wine?
Sure, yeah. I think I've got one of those around here. Let me see. And he goes under the table and brings out a bottle. Here you go.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, we'll drink, we'll relax. Hopefully Kristen gets everything sorted with the cart and with the details, and I'll head to bed. Yeah.
Excellent. So you guys all drink and, like you said, relax, have a good time. Kristen eventually returns, and she says that the cart has been gotten. And she was also given a letter at one point by a strange man in a dark alley, and she reads it and says, apparently I'm supposed to meet with the Reeve at this time. How'd that man find me? And
used to it with me and Hook and back at the fortress.
Yes. It was Hook, actually. She sidelines here in Whitevale as a courier.
Wow, if she can get here this quickly, we should have asked her to guide us.
She has a teleporter.
A circle with a real wizard.
Yep. A real fuck. Kristen cries because you bullied the shit out of her.
Look, Kristen, come back when you've learned teleportation circle, and we'll patch it up. All right, we'll patch it up.
A wizard's not a real wizard until their 5th fucking level, or what is it? No, that'd be 7th, 9th level.
No, I think it's higher than that. I think it's higher than that.
No, it's a 5th level spell, right? So it's 9th level.
If it is a 5th level spell, it'd be 9th level, yeah.
I think it's a 5th level spell.
You are correct. 5th level spell.
So you, Kristen says that she's gonna meet with
I don't know why. Do you remember why I shat on Kristen last session? And I know I did, but I can't remember why.
Shadowed?
No, like shat on.
Was there a specific reason you did it last session?
Yeah, because the reason I'm doing it this session is because I know I did it last session, but I can't remember why I was down on her wizarding abilities.
I think it was something. I think it was because. I remember. It was because you were like, oh shit, she's proficient in Arcana, and I said, well, of course, she went to a school, and you're like, yeah, but to be a treasurer, and I go, no, she went to a school to learn about magic, and you were like, well, she did a shit job, and then you just completely shit.
I think it's because she's got one spell, and she learned the new one, so 2. As opposed to the 8 she would have by now if she actually
eviscerated her. But once again, I think it's important to keep in mind that player characters are the exception, right? They're the exceptional. They're the exceptional individuals that are far and few between the most of the people that are in the world. So Yeah. So in other words, Kristen's just shit, and you should kill her. You should offer her as a sacrifice to the goblins. Distract them.
No.
You know what they say. It's not if you can outrun the goblins. It's if you can outrun Kristen.
Anyway, actually, I'm thinking. The more I'm thinking about it, I don't know if Tarius would even take Kristen, because like, I feel like my decision to take Kristen would be a little bit like not Tarius, because I've heard vampire and stuff like that. Because the only reason I want to take Kristen is for the protect good and evil spell. But I've heard goblins. But I guess Tarius doesn't really know how that spell works, so I think, yeah, goblins are evil.
Goblins are evil. You're like, gotta protect ourselves from them. Because it's like, I don't think that's how it works, but I will try.
Alright, fuck it. Yeah, we'll get the cart. We've been playing for 2 hours, so is this as I go to sleep? Is this what?
Yeah, we're gonna end with you going to sleep.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And so next session, we really did get to the book content today, because the book includes some of the details about the village. Gotcha. Although I changed the name of the town, and but most of it's like the Old Boar Inn is actually in the module. So yeah, next session, you are, I think, actually going to get to this place and maybe even fight something and maybe even kill it. And if you don't kill it, then it'll kill you.
Cool.
So, and you got I think the only thing besides going to the village is you're gonna I think, well, first thing in the morning, Kristen is gonna go and negotiate a price.
Yeah.
With Reeve, and you guys are probably gonna get ready, and then you'll have. Oh, by the way, Kristen said that she was able to get a price for if you're able to get the bodies. Kristen said, if so, she says that both of them, Hucriel and both Carowin, or no, Carowin is the woman. Both of the Hucriels, her children, have a signet ring, just like you have a signet ring, as all nobles do, or most nobles, the good ones. If you can bring back if you can bring back their signet rings, she offers 125 gold per signet ring, as a reward, and per character. So she will offer 125 gold times 5 per signet ring if you can bring them out.
That has become our new main objective. We should have been working for the nobles the entire time.
Well, you are working for the nobles. You're working for the Regent. The Regent's offering even more than that. The Regent's offering a sum of money that we're not even going to track. It's like, it's but yeah. So there's that, and then if you bring back either of their bodies, oh no, sorry. If you bring back either of the Hucriels in good shape, she says she would prefer for their bodies. So she's kind of offering the money for the bodies too. But if you can't, she basically said, if they're in a situation where you can't bring them out, like they've been mauled or they're just stuck in a ravine or something like that, she says, bring back the signet rings and you'll still get the money. And she says, if they're still alive and you can bring them back in good shape, then she'll offer double the money. So if you can find either of her children alive, she will offer something like, what is it?
1250 per body. Per person, I guess, if they're alive. So it'd be
2,500 per person. So yeah, you can make 5,000 if you find them both alive.
Wait, say again?
Oh wait, I just made that shit up. Never mind.
Yeah, it's 1,250 per person, 2,500 total.
If you find them alive. Okay, yeah. So yeah, 2,500 for both of them if you theoretically could find them both alive and bring them back.
Well, 2,550. Wait, no, 2,500. Yeah, you're right. 1,250. That was what I was thinking.
25.50, 55.95. Buy right now or used car. But yeah, that so that's quite a bit of money that she's offering. I mean, she is a somewhat wealthy noble who has and it's her children, so it makes sense that she would, not cheap out on that.
Of course.
And yeah, so that's all. So you guys are gonna head there next time. Are you worried that you're gonna run into a vampire?
No, but maybe a vampire spawn or something like that. It's old school shit where sometimes they throw stupid shit at you, but I wouldn't expect a vampire.
A vampire baby, if you will.
Vampire spawn. I'm not looking it up, and I'm gonna make an attempt not to. But I'm pretty sure that would kill us anyway. So I would imagine it's like not either of those things. But this is old school enough.
A vampire spawn is supposed to be like just a vampire, like a baby vampire that they're raising, right? Like a vampire who isn't a vampire.
Yeah, something like that. It's like a new vampire, yeah, but not necessarily a baby.
Yeah, I meant baby jokingly, not literally a baby.
That would not baby's
be,
room?
That would be a weird fight.
It would actually be hilarious.
A vampire spawn is pretty tough. Look at them up and they whoo.
Yeah.
Whoo.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
Ah!
But I'm optimistic that you had to look it up. That it's not there in your book.
I have all of them memorized, of course.
Of course, yeah. So we didn't do a lot today, but I did hunt a deer. And also,
you lose XP for hunting the deer, but we'll get to no.
How dare you? I can't actually think of anything else that I would probably deem as worth XP. But we did some information gathering.
You hunted the deer, and you got to town.
Oh yeah, we got to town. That's kind of achieving an objective.
You were able to discuss things with various characters in town and negotiate kind of a deal to do some more work.
I stayed in line. I chose to wait in line instead of cutting in line.
You chose to wait in line, which is of course 7,000 XP.
I did the hard thing rather than doing the easy thing,
and you listened to a man's story about his chicken.
His chicken, yeah. No, I definitely think that was an experience. Whether it's worth experience.
Experience point.
Ooh, I need 24 more.
Oh man. So you get 250 XP.
Whee. All right. And do I get this before I go to sleep?
Sure.
Cool. All right, so I'll level up.
Do you level up?
Yeah.
Oh my god. What level are you?
4.
You're 4 going into a level 1 dungeon. Oh my god.
Yeah, but I have 8 hit points.
You'll be fine. I'm sure you'll be fine.
So I might have more than 8. You said 250, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Are we gonna roll the die? See what you get.
Absolutely. I mean, I can't lose. There's no reason not to. Hey! That's a lot. That is 3 extra hit points. That is actually a shit ton.
You're a tank.
I have 10 hit points, Marshall. I can survive like an attack. It takes 20 damage to kill me now. That's pretty good. And I did some umming and ahhing, and I've decided that I have not done enough narrative justification for picking sharpshooter. So I've decided just to get Dex. So that's all I'm gonna get.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. So I now have 1 extra AC, which means I have 18 AC now. When I've got my two swords out, it's pretty high. Plus
that is pretty good.
Initiative.
That's very high. That's quite high.
Equivalent of plate mail.
Yeah. No, especially at like, I feel like 18 AC at level 1 to 5 is kind of like you're really fucking hard to hit by most monsters.
Well, yeah, I have to be.
a lot of them are gonna have trouble hitting you, especially like goblins and kobolds. Like they're gonna miss quite a bit. They'll hit too.
They will hit. And I also now have plus 10 to hit with my bow. That's really pretty high as well.
That's good. That's solid. You'll kill them all.
That's also actually, I think this is very important to get the dex up because that means my short swords go up to plus 7, which means when I use the amulet, it'll count as a 17, which I think is quite significantly better than a 16. But in a lot of cases, still won't hit plate map, but yeah. All right,
you're looking golden.
I'm looking better. I'm looking like this character, Tarius Gladwin. Did anybody think he could survive nine sessions? He hunted
I
it
thought
out.
he was going to be brutally murdered, and I always thought that.
And he still might. He's got 10 hit points.
Which is a lot.
More than, well, it isn't.
But it's not a lot for fourth level, but it's like, well, it's also not a lot for first level. It's like a first level fighter would normally have like at least 10, probably like 12 or 13, or like. That's funny though. That's funny. But we'll say it's like it's on par for first level. You finally reached par.
I can only go up from here.
I can only be better than this. No, that's really great. Yeah, so today's episode, what is the name of it? It is called Tales from the Sunless Citadel.